We like to finish this kind of with a funny bit, you know, something to make people laugh. And there's nothing funnier than the doom goblin Greta Thunberg, who's been arrested in Copenhagen at the university there, kind of screwing up everybody's lives there, blocking roads and God knows what. But the interesting thing is that she hasn't been arrested for her usual subject, which is, of course, climate change. She's been arrested. She's now gone gaga about Gaza. So she's moved on from climate change and now she's protesting about Palestine and Gaza. So it's like anything, it's sort of vaguely left-wing, she'll be in there protesting. Do you think she's gone off climate change because it's just been revealed that this has been the coldest summer since 2015? So this world on fire thing, here she is getting arrested. She loves this stuff, doesn't she? She should have gone to school a bit more, then she could have actually gone to Copenhagen University. But there you are. She spent all her time sitting in a square protesting about the planet. Do you think she's gone off climate change because this is the coldest summer since 2015, so the world's on fire shtick is not going to fly?
No, I don't think that there's any such level of logic with this stuff, is there? I mean, the fact that it's a cold summer, they will say, is just weather, isn't it? It's not climate. There's a difference between weather and climate, blah, blah. You know, these people are nutters, aren't they? They don't see proportion. They don't have perspective. This is her cause. It served her very well. You're saying maybe she should have spent less time sitting outside school and
gone into the school, maybe learned something.
Yeah, but truth be told, you know, she and the family have done an almighty well out of this racket, haven't they?
Yes.
Goodness knows what, money has changed hands, certainly around the people around her. And Greta Thunberg's a whole industry, isn't she? So this is just another industry, isn't it? The pro-Palestinian gig. And I wonder what's next. You know, I don't know, some crazy veganism thing. What could it be? I'm trying to think, what is the next cause célèbre? Is she going to do some trans thing next, maybe?
I don't know, but it's almost as if, we've got Ed Miliband is our net zero secretary or whatever the hell he's calling himself at the moment. I mean, it's like having Greta Thunberg in our government. I mean, this guy, don't you find his policies alarming? I mean, he's going to drive us into, if not energy poverty, just poverty. He's going to make this nation impoverished with all this claptrap.
Well, I think we're sort of heading that way already, aren't we? Yeah. It's funny because when he was in his last iteration in the Labour Party, and I think he was actually an energy minister years ago, but he was actually kind of semi-normal. I mean, he was sort of more normal than his very sort of serious and sober and not actually very charming brother. Ed was actually the good one of the two. I liked Ed Miliband. You know, he was a nice enough guy, but someone's got to him. I mean, he's just completely lost his head over all of this stuff, hasn't he? I mean, I saw him leaning over the dispatch box yesterday, you know, hectoring people on the other side of the debate, basically saying, you idiots, you just don't get it. He's the one that doesn't seem to get it. You know, there's no good simply setting us all up for vast multi-billion-pound expense on unreliable energy. Why don't we use some of what we've got already? I mean, no one seems to have asked him much about fracking lately, but can you imagine the absolute meltdown he would have if people started suggesting we actually use the resources under our feet in this country? Yeah,
and don't forget, when they fracked in America, they got themselves 125, maybe 150 years worth of cheap energy. Talk to Americans. When we say our energy bills are soaring, they've forgotten all about expensive energy bills because of fracking. We have untold supplies of fracking gas underneath our nation. We could get that out, and I still can't quite work out why Rishi bloody Sunak and the Tories agreed to stop fracking. It was something to do with, if we carry on doing this, it'll cause an earthquake in Blackpool. No, it won't, you absolute fools. I mean, the Tories were just as bad on this green claptrap as the Labour lot, but you're right, Ed Miliband, Crazy Ed, has taken it to a whole new level, a frightening level. This is going to be bad for the nation.
I mean, do we need anything more that's going to be bad for the nation? I mean, these guys can do so much damage in the next 5 years. And, you know, there was a bit of me, I reported on the Labour government first time round, you know, the Blair years, the Brown years, and these were quite interesting times. I got to know quite a lot of the characters. There was a bit of me that thought when they're all coming back again, oh, I don't know if I can face this. It's going to be so boring. Oh, it's not boring.
It's not boring.
It's not boring. They are off. They absolutely off the reservation, which, whilst they're doing terrible, terrible damage already, at least means that we have got no shortage of things to shout about, frankly, to dissect, to ridicule, to just have our mouths agape at what is going on here and wonder where it all ends. And, you know, hopefully there's a way of turning all this around and rescuing the absolute devastation that they are going to cause. But my goodness, it's incredible spectator sport. It's just sad that so many people are affected.
Some of it's quite funny, like Ed Miliband, although it's quite frightening as well. Just a last point on a serious note. I was talking to Tim Montgomery earlier, and, you know, I said to him, have we got with Keir Starmer, you know, he said he came in on a moderate ticket. So far, he's been sort of slightly left of Karl Marx. And, you know, have we ended up with... This is the guy who said, oh, you know, I'm not like Jeremy Corbyn. Well, a lot of people are saying this guy is Jeremy Corbyn in a free suit that somebody gave him. At least Corbyn paid for his own clothes. But I don't know if you saw today, Stephen Pollard, the editor-at-large of the Jewish Chronicle, wrote a brilliant piece for the Daily Mail where he talked about Labour's policy in terms of limiting arms sales to Israel in its darkest hour of need, just after 6 poor hostages were shot through the back of the head by Hamas. He said this policy, the Labour's policy towards Israel, is exactly the same as what Jeremy Corbyn's would have been. That is extremely disconcerting. He's got a point, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, David Lammy's on the sort of left of the party as well, isn't he? And I think people were kind of, in some way, perhaps a little bit fooled by Keir Starmer continually banging on. You might have heard him say this before, that he was once upon a time Director of Public Prosecutions. So people thought, oh, in that case, he must be kind of like a strong law and order person. Well, we've seen he is, but all in the wrong kind of way. And also just the sort of nonsense around him being a bit Blairite. You know, some of Blair's sort of acolytes, like Peter Mandelson, was supposed to be, you know, preparing Keir Starmer for office. Perhaps that lulled some people into thinking, oh, actually, this is going to be a bit of a new Labour-style government. Not a bit of it. You know, the characters at the top now are, frankly, pretty hard left, aren't they?
They really are, yeah, really are. They're bad politicians as well. They're bad politicians. They're far left. And by the way, he keeps boasting about what a wonderful DPP he was, what a wonderful Director of Public Prosecutions. I always think of those 28 journalists that he tried to put in jail for doing their jobs, wasted many, many millions of pounds of the public purse trying to prosecute journalists. Every single one of those cases failed. Also, under his watch, when he was the DPP, it was decided not to prosecute Jimmy Savile. So let's just remember what a great DPP Keir Starmer was, shall we? And on that bombshell, Isabel, we better call a halt to this excellent conversation.